Hey, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. I've been away for a while and now I'm back talking about movies and things. And today is the focus on movies. I have two guests with me today, and we're going to do a comparison review, which I like to do. I have Nick Leshi, a good friend of mine from the Bronx. And I can't say the with Bronx, so it's always the Bronx. It's always the Bronx.
The Bronx.
The Bronx.
There you
And there we go. And I have Erik Kuber, right? Is that
Kuber, yes.
Great.
Yep.
Erik is also a friend. I've joined him on a podcast talking about movies and things, and we decided to do one on my show, and we're going to do a comparison review. Like I said, something I like to do. Two films that sort of don't seem like they jive, but it's who wore it best. That's how I sort of look at it, and that there are commonalities with it. So the movies we're comparing today are the Prey film, which is the prequel to the Predator series. It came out in 2022, and Don't Worry, Darling, which is Olivia Wilde directed, and there's a lot of hype about that. So we're going to compare. There is another Don't Worry, Darling movie that came out this year, by the way.
I didn't know that.
It's the same title. I was like, I didn't know they allowed that, but it did come out. So I didn't see that one. I saw the right one. Just hot take on both of them. I like them both. Just get this out of this way, so no one has to wait to the end. I guess if you want to click it off, you can, but I hope you stay and hear why I like them. But I do like them both, and I did immediately see something in common with them. And there was some hype about Don't Worry, Darling, and the casting, and I'll get to that. But Erik, you know what? Let's. What do you think about these two films?
I like them both. Yeah, I like them both as well, and I can definitely see the correlation. I think I like Prey a little bit more than Don't Worry, Darling. Okay. I did have some issues with Don't Worry, Darling, but I think it was worth at least one viewing. I think she did a credible job.
Okay.
It really hit home. I mean, it got right to the point, and the point was made, and that's what I liked about it. It was the subject matter was okay. And once I found out what it was about, right, I was like, boom, there it is.
That's very interesting. That's the same thing sort of in my head that clicked. They both films created a world, and they're very compact, but there's a lot of stuff in that world. Yeah. And I enjoyed that. The fact that it could be a story told. My connection for the films were that it was two strong female leads, only seen from their perspective. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that happened for me only was in their POV. It didn't matter what else happened. It could have been their imagination. It could have been anything. But anything else happened outside of their moments, didn't matter. It really only mattered how they were dealing with it. And there's just strong, women. Amber Mid-Thunder, which not Nuru, was in Prey. She was amazing. The casting for both, I think, is actually above and beyond. Yeah. It's really, really good.
Yeah, inspired for both. Yep.
I don't see why people hated Harry Styles.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I thought he played the character. I thought he did his work. Yeah. I thought he did the homework. I really thought he did the homework of like being an actor and figuring out that character, because he was. I mean, there's spoilers here, everybody. Just telling you, I can't help it. It's gonna come out. Just see the fucking movie. That the execution is what matters. It's the delivery. It's not.
They both look beautiful.
Pizza. A good pizza. It doesn't really matter how it gets to you. It's just a good pizza. And that's what it is. It doesn't really matter. In the end, it's going to be a good pizza. Right. But Harry Styles, I thought, as the sort of lost boyfriend, trying to make this make-believe world in Don't Worry, Darling. So the idea of Don't Worry, Darling is this world in the 60s. That's this perfect world and has all these characters where the wives are wives, the men are men. They work at some sort of conglomerate company, and they have this boss that's cult-like, very Jordan Peterson. I think that's what he was based on. But he could be L. Ron Hubbard. He could be any of these guys who just ask you for all your money and to sleep with your wife. He'd be any of these creepy guys. So and I thought he did. I think Pine did an amazing job.
He was great. He was really good.
I like
the energy, everything. And I generally like him, and stuff. Not everything, but I mean, my favorite is Florence Pugh. I think that's how she
she's amazing. Pugh. Yeah,
her physicality. Both actors, Amber Mid-Thunder and her, have had amazing. I think all of them had great physicality in both these films that I rarely see in a film. And then you have Prey. The premise is that's the prequel to Predator, where the predators are sort of like discovering Earth, and they come across Native Americans, And this is the first battle of them learning, which a lot of good stuff in that. It's just the physicality, again, the casting, the beauty of the characters, there's so many things to like about it. The battle scenes, how they speak, which is like really interesting to me because there's a very American nondescript tone accent.
Sure.
In Prey. So it didn't have the notoriously British people, trying to, make it fancy or something. It was no guttural thing. They just spoke in their voices, and literally the story is carried across with it. So it's really, really impressive in that respect.
I thought it was interesting that you could watch it one of two ways. You could watch it in English, and then they dubbed it in
Comanche. I heard about that.
Did that?
And I tried to watch it in Comanche, but it looks. I would have preferred subtitles if it had been in Comanche, full on with English subtitles. I would have dug that more than anything.
I would have watched that too. I love that actually. I do that all the time. I watched what was that movie? That Korean series. Was it the Korean series? That one that hit big last year. With
I remember. I know the one you're talking about. I forget the title.
I watched Parasite? I watched it with overdubbing in English and the subtitles to see how wrong the subtitles or the English were. People hate me for it, but I do it because I compare the both. I figure that's how I get the perfect intent.
Sure.
Nick, how do you feel about these films?
I see the comparison you were trying to make because in addition to it being two female leads, it's about you said it's from their perspective, but also the male view of what a woman should be.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, in the first movie, it's blatant, right? Yeah. And in the second movie, it's like, they were meant to be healers or house, keeping the house, cooking, but definitely not hunters. Definitely, So I thought that was a really interesting. I like Erik. I like Prey better. It's something that I think I could rewatch more. But I'll be like you said. I don't know why Harry Styles was getting a lot of criticism. Olivia Wilde got some criticism for her direction. I thought the direction was great. Yeah. I think the flaw with the first one, with the Don't Worry, Darling, is the story. I think it did feel a little derivative, but it kept me suspenseful throughout, and I liked the performances. And in the end, I enjoyed it. Yeah, but I thought it was well done, and I enjoyed it. It definitely wasn't something I regretted watching, or I might not go back to it right away. Because I think
I tried to watch it a second time. It was a hard second watch, only because I knew stuff was happening.
Yeah.
Again, I really like Florence Pugh. She's just one of my favorite actors right now. Just the way she's when she's tired, she looks tired.
Yeah, her performance it mirrors her performance. And I don't know if you've seen Ari Aster's Midsommar.
Yeah, I love one of my favorite movies.
That was a great film, and I think her performance in this kind of was very much like that.
That actually
reactions.
That film is what won me over to her. In all honesty, that film is what won me.
I think she's like on the cusp where she can like a little bit more and she'll be overacting, but she's right at that edge where it's like it's perfect.
It's a razor's edge of it. It's like I said, we talked about this on when we were doing the podcast about Casablanca, about how very few people know how to walk or act or do physical things in film, and I think all of these actors in both films knew how to walk, knew how to run, knew how to be angry, knew how to scream with the right level. I mean, I'll say she's a master of it. I think I've never seen anybody who impresses me so much, besides Tom Cruise running, which is his one skill. But she is like a master of every great actor should jog. That's why I'm not a great actor.
Well, she's great at the frown. She's got that face.
She just has the right lines.
Well, she represents the audience too. She's very, the audience is with, the reactions to everything, her going through whatever experience it is. Yeah. The audience is right there with her. We're making those same faces as she's.
No, definitely. She's figuring things out,
and she conveys that very well.
And that is that's kudos to Olivia Wilde. She gave us a way into the story rather than just being viewers. We were actually part of it in a lot of ways. And I think the directing stuff, she's pulled other things from other films. I'm like, oh, I've seen this. I was thinking of like the Jazz Singer. With some of the routines and the flashbacks. I was like, oh my God, I remember some of this thing in other movies, but that's okay. She wears her inspirations on her sleeve. I can appreciate that too. I don't think you have to be sorry with it. I think that she has style. She appreciated, and she's, learning as a director. And I thought she did an amazing job. I love the coloring of it. I love the palette.
Oh yeah.
The palette.
You spoke of the world building. I felt like everything in the first 5 minutes of the film, it really set up that world. You know, you open a movie with Ray Charles, man, and you see women dancing to Ray Charles. I mean, I dig this, man. This is what a hell of a way to start a movie. Yeah, it was, you know, you're in that world.
You were in that world. And even to that, when I did watch it the second time, a lot of those things make sense when you understand that, you know, it is world building, even within the story of what the perfect man is and what the perfect woman is. And these are, I mean, there's a stripper scene in it, which I totally forgot about. Actually, I saw it on the side. I was like, oh my God, there's a stripper. I didn't realize. And this makes total sense for somebody who wants to be in that time period, that it's okay. It's okay to smoke. It's okay to be pregnant and drinking. I mean, there's a lot of signs that it's a made up world. Like, she's pregnant, and one of the women is perpetually
it's problematic is where they were going with it from the get-go. Is like they wanted to convey that very misogynistic, problematic time, sort of like Mad Men. I was thinking of Mad Men
exactly,
you know, when I was watching it too.
Same thing.
The guys all with the fancy cars and the dapper clothes,
and choreography. I mean, it's almost like, you know, synchronized swimming, but with cars, with Corvettes. I was thinking of that series, Nick, we watched the moon landing series.
Yes, For All Mankind.
For All Mankind, where all the and they brought up that all the astronauts would have Corvettes. And then when they would race to work, I immediately thought about, like, oh my God, this is all picking up on these little bits of trivia of reality, you know, that really happened, and what the perception was. And I don't think she should get the hate that she got. Maybe she's like banging Harry Styles. Well, let her bang Harry Styles. He's a good-looking guy.
I think there's nothing wrong with the guy. I think it was more of the marketing campaign for this film was all the BS that was happening behind the scenes. It wasn't really about the movie itself. It was all about, you know, like Shia LaBeouf's, you know, he was supposed to play the character first before Harry Styles. And and that's why they brought him in, because he replaced Shia LaBeouf.
I didn't know that. You know what? I bet you that I think Harry did a better job than Shia would have done.
Yeah. Maybe
I think he had the right intensity. I think he really did his homework, especially the last scene. There is a blow up scene, again, spoilers, at the end, where he just opens up and tells the truth. Yeah. And it makes sense. Like, it was real. For me,
I would have preferred a little bit more for him to chew on, though, given the fact that this is his first acting gig. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that relationship when that reveal happens. That was probably my biggest problem with the film, because I felt it was too quick. It was too abrupt. And then everything from that point on, it kind of just, it's all about her escaping this world. And I wanted to see more of, like, the mind fuck. You know, like I want to, you know, because that's where the movie was, up to that point, it was great. Yeah. But I felt like I felt a little bit of a cop out there. I felt like it was like, it might have been great to trust the audience more, to see it, to carry that to the end. Yeah. For maybe 5-10 minutes before the ending. And then you make that big reveal, everything comes crashing down. Right. But I think there was a little too much time there where all the characters at that point, that's when you know everything about everybody. Yeah. You know? So I just felt like it was like a cascade of just a little too easy. I can see that. I felt, you know, but that was my problem, my biggest pet peeve with the movie. Yeah. But overall, I think it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, you know, in a sense, because Harry Styles' character, he's not like these other misogynists, right? I mean, he's misogynistic in the sense that he thinks this is what a woman should be doing. You know, oh, she's a doctor, and look how miserable she is. She's so tired. I'm going to give her this perfect 1950s, early 1960s lifestyle. And if you notice, like, the sex scenes, they're all about, like, him trying to satisfy her, right? So it would be great maybe if in the end we kind of get a little bit more of, like, his motivation, and maybe make him realize, or, like, again, I don't want to rewrite it myself, but I think that's where I felt a little bit of a letdown, where it was just kind of like this, it did the big reveal, and now it just became like this escape action movie trying to get out of this world.
In the desert, she's driving the car, and
then there was that great scene with what's her name, Gemma, who
Gemma
plays
Chan.
Gemma Chan, where she kills Chris Pine's character, right?
Spoilers. Go ahead.
Right, spoilers. But that's where I was like, okay, maybe the twist is that she's the one that created this world rather than Chris Pine, but we don't really know.
No, we don't get that.
There's no development there either.
I guess it's open for your interpretation. I think, you know. So
I agree with both of you. I think, but now I'm gonna go back to her influences with directors and where we are, you know, cinematically right now. I think some of the biggest directors with the twist right now is a Jordan Peele. I would say this is her. And I'm not saying she's like biting off anybody or anything, but I think it looks very much like a Twilight Zone. It looks very much like a very small world. and these are her steps into becoming a bigger director. So I kind of respect it. I do get what you're saying. Yeah, I probably want more. I don't know if I could do a full second watch. I probably would fast forward in a lot of it. But I think some of the flashback scenes with the dancers was like a little bit too much for me. They have all these dancers in their mind that mimic the eye.
Or whatever
that mimics me. That would make me. That's today when I was watching it. That's what I really thought about. Hey, that's a lot like like a Twilight Zone episode. I could totally see that. Yeah, I could totally see this. It just has cursing and some actually great sex scenes. Probably some of the best.
This would have made an excellent I don't know if you've ever seen Black Mirror on Netflix.
Yeah, it could have been a really good TV show.
It pertains to the technology aspect of it being a virtual reality and all that. So
I could definitely see that. But again, the hate that they got, I think it's worth a watch. At least one watch.
I agree.
And
I
think kudos to Harry Styles. I think he really did his homework. He came in late. He worked with what he had to. I thought that there was a sexual, tension between him and Florence. It doesn't matter if they had it or not. They played it off like it was there. It was enough that it was there. So there was him being nervous, him trying to please her. There was, women always drunk. I mean, definitely better than the Nick Kroll relationship with his wife, where everybody's just drunk and they're trophy wives, and that's what these guys are trying to do. So the Styles character is a little bit different.
Did you catch the English British accent? Like every time you see him, it's like in the first time you see him, he's English, but then the next time it's more British.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I thought that was a flub. Like, he's not hiding his accent very well.
Yeah.
But it's on purpose. It's because he's actually American,
right?
As in the real world, but then he wanted to be a British. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. That was interesting.
I picked up on that, and I was like, am I thinking the wrong thing? I swear to God, I was like, am I thinking?
It's those moments that throw you, and those that's what I wanted more of. I wanted to see more of that kind of stuff.
That's and the doctor goes, hey, what do you Brits say? He's like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
I was like, wow, you're right. Wow, excellent pick up on that, Eric. I really didn't. I picked up on it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I watched it with my wife, and she's like, I said, is it me, or did he lose his accent? I mean, the next thing you know, he's British again, and it's like. He's not doing very well hiding this, it's not consistent, but it was done on purpose.
Wow, that's actually really good. See, again, little details. I think Olivia Wilde learning as a director. I know she's got, there's a lot of hype because of who she is. I don't know, but I still know if a director came in that was unknown sort of, or just a director that does a lot of stuff. I don't know if they would have got that hate. I think they would have been given a lot more leeway into learning the craft. You're only as good as your last project. Right. It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, Scorsese is only as good as the last film. No matter, I know some people love him, but he's really only as good as the last film. So that's that's where I think that goes. I want to need more time. Unlimited meetings and more. Zoom says I need more time. I said upgrade. Okay, we have 10 minutes. We'll go wrap this up in 10. And next time I'll upgrade. So and then we go back to Prey, which again, great casting. Some of my favorite parts were the fight scenes. They're running through the woods. When the predator comes and she's being pulled back with a couple of the other warriors, not her. I think it was her sibling, right? The Cody Beavers was supposedly a sibling.
They're probably a brother.
Sister.
Right?
Yep.
The other, I thought that was amazing. I thought like some of those things they were doing and the choreography of the fight scenes was. I don't know how true it is to Native American culture. I don't know any of that.
What I heard was it was pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean,
it felt good. Like it felt like. Not good that people died, but it felt good. I don't want to say a white guy wants all the Indians to die, but I think it's just I think it felt good as like fight. Sorry,
no, the choreography, really visuals were great. I mean, it was really good.
Well, interesting tidbit. They actually screened it it was a shot in the arm for the Comanche people,
right?
And they actually they rented out a theater on the reservation where they bust a whole tribe of Comanche to see the film. And nobody else was allowed in. There was no nobody else was with these people, and I think that's fantastic. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate that film, it got good buzz, but it vanished right away. But that I've seen it 3 times.
It's a rewatch.
Just telling other people to watch.
I did too. And
you got to see it. Watch it.
Of course, it's getting a lot of flack. Like, this little girl defeats the predator, or. But my response to that is, did you guys watch the first Predator again?
Exactly.
I mean, this thing took out an entire manly, masculine squad. Okay. So it wasn't her, brute strength that's going to defeat this thing. It's her smarts. It's her know-how. She's light on her feet. She's quick. She's quick. She knows how to take, like to fly like the wind. And I thought it was great.
And then she realizes the medicine is what keeps the predator from seeing the body and thinks it's dead. So that at the end she takes the medicine.
The logic
and
works.
Then the predator can't see her.
And again, the misogynistic tone where even the predator doesn't see her as a threat because she's this little girl. Like he's even when she attacks him, he's just like whatever, and he goes after the hunters.
Exactly.
I thought that was
brilliant.
It was really well told.
I love the French trappers.
Yeah.
Showing their one. I mean, they show their I'll say hate of like nature and really just killing things for the sake of killing and being abusive and hurting things and people and just having no respect for anything. So it was really interesting the way they portrayed them.
Yeah,
and it was guttural. It was visceral. It was really a hit. It worked. It worked.
In the beginning, when you see the dead buffalo that have been skinned. Yeah. I first thought, oh, the predator did that or something. Yeah. And then you realize it's the French, right? They were stealing the hides and everything. Yeah. And it goes back to the first movie because in the original Predator, you have these commandos who are in a different country, right? And they're, they're kind of the invaders or they're working. And then now you have this other hunter coming after them. And here, they play on that. Like you have, the indigenous people and then you have, the Europeans coming in and yet you have this other coming in, right? So it's really interesting.
Lots of callbacks.
Definitely lots of callbacks. And just the style. I this too. I love some of the fighting sequences. I like the hunting sequences, like with the wolf. I think it was the wolf. That was a great sequence. There's some really good stuff in there. I watched it 3 times. I was getting people to sit down and watch it.
It's a great watch, and it shouldn't look as good as it does. This is like the 7th entry. I know. If you count the Alien versus Predator, which were horrible.
Those are horrible.
And the Shane Black one was a piece of shit too. I didn't like that one at all.
Which is the Shane Black?
This Predator 2, right?
No, the Predator. It was just called the Predator. That's how forgettable it is. If you guys ever even heard of it, it came out like a couple of years ago.
And it's not the one with Adrian Brody, is it?
No, that was the Robert Rodriguez produced one.
I like that one.
But I did too. But Shane Black, who played Hawkins in the original film, the guy with the glasses, he wrote and directed the later entry, and it was horrible. I was really looking forward to it.
F that guy. No, F that guy. F that guy. No, this was by far honestly, you love the original. I actually love the Adrian Brody Predator. I watched that several times. I think it's actually it got a lot of hate, but I think it's one of the best produced Predator films. Lawrence Fishburne's a great character actor, and I mean he's a great lead, but he's great characters too. And everybody brought something to that movie. This might be better than that for me. I think it's definitely a rewatch film. So. It's truer to the canon of what it is. It gives you insight into the characters, the aliens. It gives you insight to people. It just does something. I think that's what both these films sort of do. They give you insight into people, into the way people think and fears, and how they break out of their fears, how do they break out of these moments, be it a real world where they're, a Clockwork Orange with eyes open, or be it a, being invaded by an alien. Yeah. And it's
very well researched, and you could definitely tell the guy's a fan of the franchise. Yeah. He honors the original film. He loves this creature. I love the fact that they even changed the creature's appearance. I'm so glad that they didn't use the typical.
It shows the evolution.
Yeah, 300 years earlier, right?
Yeah, I mean, really cool.
Which again goes to the Adrian Brody version. So that to me, they connected. They really connected.
Yep.
Hey guys, I want to thank you. This has been actually awesome. We're right in the 30 minutes.
Hey, I'm glad. I'm glad you had me. Yeah.
I'd love to do this again. I got other movies to do.
Sure.
If people want to, hear some banter, maybe I'll upgrade Zoom so I can do a full hour, because we probably could have spoken an hour about.
There's more we can talk about. We'll definitely pray.
Yeah, definitely is more. But, I should have upgraded when Zoom is upgraded.
That's cool.
But I'll be honest. 30-minute podcast. That's my
sweet spot.
Timeline. Yeah, it's like that's perfect.
A sweet spot.
Are you saying that Dean likes to drone on and on?
No, I'll drone. I'll drone.
Right at the cusp. 30,
shout out to
Dean.
I'll get a wood instrument and I'll start droning.
And he keeps it succenct, man. He's he's regimented too. He's very on point with the conversation. But
so this is great. Let's do this again, guys, if you can.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to watch me again, I'm gonna put this up and we'll do another one. There are some movies. Watch Vengeance, and we can do that.
Okay.
Watch it.
Interesting.
Watch it. Watch Vengeance and Barbarian. We can actually do both.
I heard Barbarian was good too.
Watch it. Just watch it.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, I'll check them out. Sure.
Watch Vengeance and Barbarian. If you want, the three of us will get together. We can invite some more people and we can talk about it.
There you go.
All right.
Awesome.
Great, gents. Thank you.
All right,
thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Come back to see the shows and the chat. I like it. Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.